Okay, speeding.
All right. So, if your child was bullied, I don't know if they have been, but how would you handle that?
Well, the first thing I'd want to do is make sure that my child understood that he or she was okay, that they were safe with me, that they were safe with adults, and that they were safe in knowing that whatever the bullying tactic or whatever the bullying message had been was wrong, that they were valuable. I think the primary role of a parent is to love your child. People think of parents' roles in a lot of different ways: to prepare your child, to train your child, to teach your child values. They're all important, but the primary role is to love your child, and loving your child to reinforce the idea that your child is okay, safe. And then I think the secondary strategy is to go in and talk to adults in the school and find out what are the contributing factors to bullying, how you can identify those who are doing it and help them to change.
What would you give advice to schools who say that it's just part of kids being kids?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that are part of human behavior that we don't tolerate. Human beings can be violent. That doesn't mean we accept violence. Human beings can be cruel to one another, but we don't tolerate those sides of the human experience. I mean, ultimately, the greatest communities are those where everybody has a role and everybody has a value, not those where some people are brutalized and others are dominant.
What advice would you give to those parents who may have just found out that their child is the bully?
I think it's a wake-up call to remember that all of us have that. I wouldn't blame the parent as much as I'd invite the parent into a conversation. I think all of our children, all of us, have some of the bully in us, let's be honest. There have been times when I've sat on the sidelines and made fun of other people, other kids, other adults. Gossip can be a form of bullying, I think. I mean, maybe I'm stretching the definition too much, but I think so. So I don't think it's to wield an axe against the perpetrator, but it is to say these are things we can change.
And what do you think could be done to help prevent bullying, the act of bullying?
Well, I think getting parents initially, as well as then in classrooms, teaching the social and emotional skills, teaching children how to identify feelings, teaching children how to share and discuss problems when they arise in nonviolent and non-mean-spirited ways. In Special Olympics, we think we teach an anti-bullying curriculum by taking kids with intellectual differences, diffabilities, I like to say, and teaching them to play with their non-disabled peers. It may be as simple as a game of basketball or a game of soccer or a game of golf. But in play, we use our imaginations, we use our relationship skills, we teach one another healthy and exuberant sometimes behaviors. In the act of playing together, we learn that some of the labels that society might have given us are small and inadequate ways of describing the full and exciting potential of a friend.
One more question. What advice do you give to the bully who has or who has not been caught yet?
Well, I think getting caught is sometimes the wrong way to think about it. I think sometimes getting caught is really being given the chance to change. I think those kids who bully need to have their hearts cracked open, and they need to hear maybe the story of the victim, really the personal and honest story.
Do you think they almost should be caught in a way to help them? The sooner the better?
Well, I think being asked to change is always a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think all of us need people in our lives who can stop the train at some point and say, hey, Quinn, hey, Tim, it's time for a change. I want you, in a nice and in a safe and in a supportive way, I want you to know something about yourself that maybe you don't realize. And then when people can do that with us, it's life-changing, right? When they point a finger at us and say, hey, Quinn, you son of a gun, you know, you've got to stop doing this, you get defensive.
Yeah.
So I think those who haven't been caught need the chance for healing. I think that's possible.